Hello! You may have seen the title of this video and thought, hey Aaron, you're not a gaming news YouTuber. Why are you talking about this? Well, this is actually an interesting topic to me, and I just had chocolate chip pancakes for breakfast and a lot of coffee. So mix all those things together and bam! You have a quick little Aaron Plays video about this subject. Sega just announced that the Genesis Mini is coming out on September 19th. So at first I thought, oh, so the AtGames thing is really coming out, huh? But nope, there is a twist. At first I was confused because I thought this was already announced last year and that this was going to be another AtGames product. So in my brain I just automatically dismissed it and totally forgot that it existed. I won't get into it, but AtGames was responsible for those trash Sega flashback systems from a few years ago. You know, that had really shitty emulation and there was a ton of third-party games thrown on there. Those were not quality products, and I won't keep going because I'm sure you guys already know that, and I want to move on to the cool part. So Sega turns out to be smarter and more self-aware than we give them credit for. According to Kotaku, Sega dropped AtGames as the developer and went with a company called M2, who is responsible for collections like Sega Ages. And from what I've read, and according to my Twitter feed, M2 has a really good reputation when it comes to making quality software. So this is really good news. I can't help but imagine that Sega is also reacting to what happened with Sony, and after they saw what they did with the PlayStation Mini or PlayStation Classic, whatever it's called, they were like, yeah, let's not mess up that bad and learn from their mistakes. And here's another thing that's kind of crazy. They announced some of the games for the system, and it's actually a pretty decent lineup. So for the US version of the console, they announced the following games: Sonic the Hedgehog, Space Harrier 2, ToeJam and Earl, Altered Beast, Castlevania Bloodlines, Comix Zone, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, Echo the Dolphin, Gunstar Heroes, and Shining Force. That's right, you got Castlevania Bloodlines, ToeJam and Earl, Altered Beast, Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, that's a decent lineup of games. I don't know what else you could want, and they haven't even announced all of the games yet. I'd also like to think that they're sitting there going, haha, fuck you, Sony. So the Japanese version offers a few different games like Madu Monogatari Ichi, which, you know, was only released in Japan, so it makes sense those are not included on the US console. And if anything, I'm guessing this is good news for mini collectors because now you have an excuse to buy two different ones. All of the games were not announced yet, but the Mini will include a total of 40 games and it will be based on the Model 1 Genesis system. It will also include the 3-button controllers, while the Japanese version will have the 6-button controllers. Sega also announced that original controllers will not work with this system, which sucks, but I mean, number one, if you're buying this, chances are you don't really have original controllers laying around, and that doesn't really bother you. And number two, the new controllers come packaged with the system, so I don't see that as being a big deal. As many of you know by now, I'm a fan of real hardware, so I don't know if I personally will be buying this. But that being said, I'm a little bit tempted. I just wish this thing came out 2 years ago when I didn't have the setup I had now, because oh my god, that would have been crazy convenient. I also think it's important that Sega comes out with a quality mini console because it's a great way to get into the Genesis if you didn't have one growing up. For instance, I was a Nintendo kid, so I'm still playing catch up when it comes to Genesis games and PlayStation games, so I'm really impressed by the selection of games on this thing. So to wrap things up, this will be released on September 19th and retail for $79.99. Let me know what you think in the comments. Will you be getting one? Do you think it'll be as popular as the NES Classic, or do you think it'll flop like the PlayStation Mini? I personally think it'll do okay, maybe not as crazy as the NES Classic, but I think people are hungry for a quality Genesis Mini, and I think this is a really good start. But anyway, I want to see what you guys think, so let me know, and thank you so much for watching.